We're about to start yet another 3-day tattoo project for one massive thigh piece. This one is going to be of 2 pet portraits, 2 dogs, and then some other design elements to give it a setting and just make it look good. Let me show you the design. So this is what we're working with. We've got 2 really great photos of my client's dogs. I can't remember what breed he said they were. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. And then also a little family scene of my client, his wife, and them walking through the woods. Another design feature that my client requested was to have a Harry Potter reference. So we've very subtly popped the snitch in there off to one side and also a little owl flying through the trees because my client's dogs are named Dobby and Luna, which if anyone has seen Harry Potter, they're obviously characters from the film, from the books. Did I also mention that this is my client's first ever tattoo? He's doing 3 days in a row. He's driving, I think, like 4.5 hours, come staying local in a hotel, and he's just gonna smash it out. So, exciting stuff. I'm getting a lot of crazy people doing 3 in a row for their first ever tattoo, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is perfectly, mate. Turn side on a little bit. Yeah, perfect, mate. That's set in really well. That's exactly what you want. Good skin. Alright, if I want to come back over, I'll stick this on. Cool. It doesn't matter that the rest of it's not stuck on because we're just focused on one today. Yeah, that's good. I'm only kidding. That was me. Basically, I'm sorry. I've done it again. I've completely forgot to double check if my mic was on, or I think it might have run out of charge. On the third day, I left my camera set up at the end of day 2. Overnight, obviously forgot to plug it in. My microphone's dead. So we've got no sound. I'm sorry about that. But I figured, you know what? Why don't we use this time, like we did the last time? I completely forgot to turn on my microphone to do a little voiceover. I know you love hearing me talk, and quite frankly, I love it as well. I figured, why don't we discuss about pet portraits, because they're quite a common tattoo theme. I know I haven't posted one on YouTube before, but I quite enjoy doing them, if possible. But there's also a lot of things to consider when it comes to pet portraits: dogs, cats, hamsters, rabbits, whatever pet you've got, and picking proper references for creating a tattoo. So let's discuss that, because we've got some really great pet portraits throwing down today and really great reference pictures. When I'm looking to do any tattoo, not just pets, there are a few main things that I'm looking for. Number one, probably the most important, is clarity. The image has to be clear. So many times people will send a picture like, hey, can you do this as a tattoo? I'm like, cool, yeah, send over the picture, let's have a look. And it's unfortunately looked like it was taken on a Nokia from the early 2000s. And it's just very, very blurry, and it just makes it almost impossible to work from. Now, that being said, with AI and things like that we have now, there's a lot of technology that can be used to enhance photos, but there's only so much that you can do, especially if you're working on an animal or a person that is very close to you and you know what they look like. You know, you're going to pick up any mistakes, and the AI just enhances what it thinks it can see. If the image is really, really blurry, then it might end up making up details which wouldn't normally be there, and it's just going to throw it off, and then you're going to recognize that. So number one, clarity. The image has to be clear. Number two is going to be contrast. Now, what does contrast mean? Contrast is basically there is a big difference between the tones and the colors and the shadows and the highlights. The gradient, the full spectrum of different colors I get to use is quite intense. It's long. Does that make sense? So like, if something has low contrast, it's very flat. The shadows aren't very dark, not black. And then the highlights are not very strong, like a strong white. And then everything in between is all very similar. So then when you put that onto skin, you have to then just use lots of the same inks, which then as it heals, it's just not going to look good. You need a lot of contrast, in my opinion. So let's talk about these pictures and the discussion that I had with my client. When we had our consultation, which we did over FaceTime, because my customer lives, I think, about 4-hour drive away, which is quite far. So to save having to come to the studio, we can just discuss over FaceTime. He basically said, yeah, what do you need from me to be able to do this tattoo the best that you can? So I explained those two things, number one. And then also, because the vision for this tattoo was he wanted some type of nature scene where him and his family are walking through the woods with the sun and everything like that, make it look a bit more like it's in a setting, not just the floating heads of the portrait, like actually create a whole design out of it. So because we'd already discussed that and we wanted to do like a sunset type vibe with the woods, so I said, well, in order to make the portraits of your dogs actually look like they are in a sunset, we're going to need to replicate that with the lighting. So the best thing that you could do is actually take your dogs outside, get them to sit and take a picture of them when the sunlight is hitting them. And more specifically, if you really can, is like take a picture where the sun is coming from one side. That way it casts a shadow over the contours of certain parts of the dog's face, and that's gonna increase the contrast. So yeah, that's basically what I explained to my customer, and he absolutely got the memo. Took some amazing pictures of his two dogs. I'll leave them on the screen now so you can see the original references. Great photos. And also, I just need to point out, like, it's not too difficult to take a great photo. You just got to think about the lighting and position, and pretty much any mobile phone nowadays has got an amazing camera. He literally just took the pictures on his camera, on his phone camera. You don't need a professional camera, you don't need to hire anyone. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. And if anyone would be interested in booking in a tattoo of their pets, dog, cat, snake, lizard, we've had pet tarantula once actually in the studio. Jodie did a tattoo of that. It's quite interesting. Let me know in the comments if you're one of those weirdos who has some strange pets that require rather difficult to maintain room temperatures. Anyway, if you would like to book in, then in the description is a link to my website, and on my website is a contact form. You can get in touch, reach out, reschedule a consultation, and I would be more than happy to tell you. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and also we are just a few days away from my Christmas raffle, so don't forget about that. If you haven't got yourself tickets, make sure you get some tickets, because I'm giving away a £2,000 tattoo. You can scan the QR code on the screen or link in the description as well. Other than that, I'm going to get one more video out before Christmas, I think, guys. And then the live stream on the 23rd of December for the raffle. That is going to be going down here on YouTube. I hope everyone has enjoyed this video, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend. Take it easy. Goodbye.